guys, Jeffrey Smith from SEO Design Solutions here. Just wanted to take a couple of minutes to share something I feel is going to be a revolution or evolution of keyword research, market analysis, and execution, approaching things from the standpoint of search engine optimization. I'm just going to use a couple of examples using the word espresso machines. We're going to be talking a little bit about Domain Web Studio and the 3.0 launch. The Domain Web Studio project is currently in the second version right now, but what it is it's a project management suite of tools that integrates vertical online market analysis tools such as the Kraken and the last keyword tool, which effectively allows you to create extremely educated data sets that you can utilize when you're analyzing any market that really do provide you with an amazing amount of detail, so you can determine where the money's at within a market, who the competitors are, and you don't waste time just looking at things, but you actually, you have a suite of tools that you can actually use to execute. Now, when most people are looking at delving into a market, they're typically going to go to, conduct a couple of Google searches. You might look at some things like the related searches, or different applications such as the Wonder Wheel or Google AdWords keyword suggestion tool. That's just basically scraping the surface as far as market research. I want to share with you the Kraken tool, which, if you are currently involved with this tool, it's rather expensive. It's around $10,000 a year for a yearly membership, or $1,000 a month just to use it, and I tell you now, it's worth every penny. But this tool allows you to enter a market from the standpoint of looking at, you take one phrase, for example. I just entered the phrase espresso machines. It drills, it literally goes and scrapes the web live in real time, compiles literally over 60 to 80,000 keywords that it drills through, and then basically comes back with all the topical phrases and keywords using a number of algorithms that they've created that show you where the money is and how much the total search market value is, for example, or what the organic market value is for a keyword. And so not only does it do that, but it does allow you to look at the ranked competitors that are occupying those spaces currently, what percentage of market share they have, and not only that, but you can look at their inbound link or deep link percentages to determine what kind of market share, if they're primarily focused in Google or Yahoo, who they are, what kind of the spike here is their semantic graph that they're sort of leaving behind for what types of phrases they're optimized. If they're optimized across an entire array of keyword clusters, or if they're just primarily targeting on a very narrow group of phrases. Either way, we can actually look at this data, and this allows us to very quickly, from the top down, assess where the money is, and based on that, we can then go into identifying things that are critical for on-page SEO success, which is supporting content. So, for example, using this as a primary indicator, we're going to look at that there's roughly $106,000 moving through this market. People are paying $1.45 a click, 7 PPC clicks per day for that phrase, but 145 searches. Competing pages is a factor, but if I wanted to find out, for example, what other on-page elements I'm up against, such as the domain age, the kind of site architecture they have, we can use some other tools to dig into that later. But the idea here is to create your outputs, and based upon that, you cast a wide semantic net of keywords that then allow you to go and conduct some other types of pruning, if you will, as far as refining that process. So, for example, this was that phrase I was looking at. It has a small percentage of market share. First thing I would do, for example, if I was creating a content development strategy, is I would flip the grid, starting from smallest to largest. So this way I would quickly be able to identify phrases under 50,000 competing pages, and then use that as my first syndication blueprint. For example, these would be the phrases that I would devour first. Why? Because they're showcasing the fact that they do have PPC value, and there are organic searches per day, and yet there is still money moving through those verticals, but there's not going to be as many competitors. But the relationship between these phrases creates what's part of the DNA braid, or the syndication footprint. That's the kind of thing that later on, after you understand how DWS works, and it's modular based, so it sort of takes you from the beginning phases of a project. As you progress through that, you begin to enter into the different layers, if you will, where you can conduct all of your research and log your ideas. You create your market demographic assumptions, conversion rates. They can then go over into the silo manager. Now, right now, what I've done is I have populated some of that data, and it's looking at a number of things, where it's looking at the competing pages, the search volume, estimated SEO cost, which is telling me, based on the other competitors actually using their live data, what kind of money I would have to spend on that keyword in order to attain that phrase within that market. So all this, all this data that you see now that exists here, there's many ways you can do this. You can grab this data from different sources. We would suggest that you use the last keyword tool. The reason for that is it has amazing filters built in, allows you to literally look at the market using a broad scope, and from there you can apply financial filters, for example. I used, once again, the keyword espresso machines from here, but there's a number of things that I can do. For example, to return 317 tangential phrases that are appearing in the top 50 results of Google, and I can see their respective click-through rates and anticipated suggested higher and lower upper clicks per day in the organic searches. But more importantly, I can add other things like the monthly money column, which is something that you won't necessarily be able to do in other keyword tools. So for example, if I'm looking at that custom column, say I'm an affiliate and I have an affiliate program with Amazon, and I'm targeting the phrase espresso machines, well, now I need to determine, once I rank for that phrase, for example, if I were to get 1% of the click-through traffic for that phrase, and let's just say that, well, I know espresso machines are going to be sold at a much higher price point. The average one is going to be about $199 for the upper echelon, and let's just say that I've got a 7% commission on that, and I'm able to sell, one machine a day at that point, or I'm sorry, the respective 1% click-through rate per day divided by whatever that number is, then I can look at the monthly money that I'm looking at as a result of optimizing that keyword, and at the end of the day, what kind of money I can make if I have a number one position or a top 10 position for that keyword. So, the phrases that really don't have a lot of traffic, there's not as much revenue potential because you're going to have to drive more traffic to get the conversion. That's just one example. Another thing that I can do within this framework is I can apply different filters. One of my favorite filters is the creamy filter, which means that the creamy keywords float to the top. Now, these are all designed by Matt DeCruz and Sue Bell and Russell Wright, but these are really amazing because what they do is it allows you to filter out all the noise based on a Larry algorithm, which is if you can translate this, I'll let you go ahead, but basically by raising or lowering the amount, you're creating a higher or lower barrier to entry. So for example, I really only want to find top-level keywords that are actually considered categories or top-level themes, which I can then go and take back over into the Kraken tool to drill into. I can you see that I now have sorted and reduce the number of phrases, as well as really created only the top level keywords that really do have money moving through them. So based on that, then what I would do is we would create our syndication blueprint. We would then determine how many supporting articles, where it fit within the silo site architecture, and then I would outsource all of those tasks to my various teams to execute. So that's just one example of ways that you can use this. Currently, if you're using the Kraken tool, it's $1,000 a month. Or you can get a 3-day pass for $97. Last keyword tool is $97 a month. But just to give you an example, there really isn't anything on the market that even closely resembles this, as well as the ability to literally go in and look at the off-page and on-page competitive analysis matrix for a keyword-by-keyword basis after you've determined profitability. This is the first website. This is the 10th. I can look at the highest ranked website, for example, has over 3,500 backlinks. That would be the 5th website. I can see their PR range, and so I can determine sort of who I'm up against at that point, and then based on that keyword, for example, espresso machines, is that data present in the domain name? No, it's not. In this case, in the URL, absolutely not. In the title, yes. Metadata, yes. How many pages am I up against? 143,000 index pages, and they have 3,600 links. That's to their domain. You can also see deep link percentages, and if a strategy, the strategy I would suggest is finding the website with the lowest page rank, the lowest number of links and the lowest pages, and seeing if you can, first of all, get them out of the way. But you can determine what types of ranking factor, if they're using their off-page metrics or on-page, at a glimpse for any given keyword. So just once again, these are just the types of things that are going to be built into the DWS system. So I highly encourage you to take action, follow the link below, and definitely get in before this deal is gone. Thank you for listening. This is Jeffrey Smith from SEO Design Solutions.